do. So the man's going to pick Miss Jackson and Zoe after us. There's also just same reason to go. So, Mr. Blackmore, thank you for sharing your own things you like.
Yes. Oh.
Okay, Zoe, you're up next. You're welcome.
Why is Byron Cicho Lopez head of committee on housing and real estate and can't fulfill promises to address the ongoing housing crisis in Chicago? You're quick to quote black activist James Baldwin, but fail to acknowledge the injustice faced by Chicago black residents. Yes. Where is the solidarity for black and brown communities? While you advocate for causes miles away, our neighborhoods are under attack. Instead of focus on international conflicts, prioritize the concerns of Chicago citizens. We need action. It's 80,000 vacant units in Chicago. People can't find help when they turn to their alderman about housing issues. There's one right here that was speaking earlier, which is absurd. Meanwhile, you're outside speaking about injustices in another country in front of a charred American flag, while 68,000 homeless people roam the streets of Chicago, yet you remain silent. In other corrupt migrant news, while Andre Vasquez is running Chicago and in Streeterville, the most expensive shelter in the city, he's on NBC Chicago speaking out, acting clueless. When it's coming to the missing leasing agreements, you know exactly what's going on. Speaking of lease agreements and my federal lawsuit against the city of Chicago, along with Cook County, aided by aldermen and private developers associated with the Democratic Party, have engaged in a pattern of seizing properties from black communities through illegal means such as eminent domain, property tax fraud, probate court actions, and unlawful evictions via foreclosures. If you believe you've been affected by any of these practices, please reach out at 404-796-6764. The power of the black voice and dollar speaks volumes, and we will not continue to be silent in the most corrupt city on the planet.
Yes.
The Democratic Party in Chicago is a joke, and it's not funny anymore. Hashtag protect black housing in Chicago. I really advise y'all to figure out where the money is for the South Side communities, starting with that Invest Southwest. And if you think that this city is going to be run by some progressive socialist, democratic, Hispanic aldermen with the help of the cartel and a clueless mayor administration, this state will flip red so fast. Stop playing with us. America needs some order. Happy Women's History Month.
Our commenter is Ms. Jessica Jackson.
Yeah!
I want to thank the media for being here this morning, because apparently that's the only way that our voices will be heard, because our aldermen and alderwomen don't want to show up for work.
Right.
They don't want to hear from the people.
Nope.
They don't want to hear what we have to say.
Nope.
So they go and they cancel meetings at the last minute. They don't show up. They come by way of remotely and all this and that. So I want to appreciate the media for showing up and getting the word out to the people.
Yes.
Because we got a real problem in Chicago right now. We got poor leadership. We got poor leadership. We got a situation going on with a mayor who won't be transparent about how the money is being spent. They say $300 million can't be found or accounted for. We got an immigrant and refugee chairperson who, to my understanding, his first choice of profession was to want to be a rapper. Now, I don't know. I couldn't believe what I heard. I thought maybe they were talking about like a candy wrapper person or a rapper at JCPenney at Christmas time. I couldn't believe that he was really trying to be Luda. I couldn't believe it. And then on top of that, if that weren't bad enough, we get a Carlos Rosa that comes to suppress the vote so that we can't talk about sanctuary cities and vote on that.
Yes.
And then if that wasn't bad enough, now we got a Sergio Lopez who got up here and turned up the flag.
Rolling out
the flag. In that. And then on top of that, now when it's time to talk about it, you got a very bright-headed Michael Rodriguez that's walking the room right now instead of sitting himself down and being respectable to the people.
Yes.
It doesn't get any worse than this. Then you got a Michelle Harris who's messing with the Regal Theater landmarks. Then you got, let me see, you got a mayor who sees that everything is falling apart. And his response to it is that he don't flinch. And he's a gamer. So he's going to keep on playing till he wins. It doesn't get much worse than this. So media, I want to appreciate y'all for being here this morning.
Yes.
And reporting the news. Let's give a hand to the That's how you do it. That's how you do it, Channel 2. That's how you do it, ABC. That's how you do it, Fox. That's how you do it, Forbes Breaking News. You bring the news. That's how you do it. And I want to give a shout out to Tyler Farrow. I want to give a shout out to Conley. And I want to give a shout out to all the aldermen that are veterans. That know how to stand for the United States of America. Because we black out here, and this is our country. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
I think you got a career battle rap too.
I'd like to start off with something Edward Snowden, a whistleblower, once said. He said, when exposing a crime is treated as committing a crime, you are being ruled by criminals. Everyone in this room recognizes that what's happening surrounding the nonstop influx of illegal aliens is criminal. Everyone recognizes that something evil is among us, and Americans are not ready for the fundamental impacts this will have. In fact, we can't even fathom it because we've never seen anything like this. We have an administration that is run by criminals who hate America. That is why they protect these criminals. Police have been instructed from above to not mess with them. So no matter what these criminal aliens do, they're always released. It's not an accident. This is by design. And we have a garbage media that gets paid for lousy coverage. We have a media that protects criminals. It seems as if every level of government has been bought out. It really makes you wonder how many seats in government have been bought out by foreign influence. And we have a government that uses language to weaponize the masses. They're not illegal aliens, they're asylum seekers. Refugees. And they throw these terms around so that the people of America feel guilty. Because nobody wants to be a bad person. We all aim to be good. But there's a distinction between goodness and tolerance. There's a difference between goodness and naiveness. And unfortunately, I believe the majority of Americans are not acting out of a spirit of goodness, but rather out of a spirit of cowardliness and naiveness. And we have the Committee on Immigrant and Refugee Rights, headed by anti-American Alderman Andre Boston. Again, they really throw around those friendly terms, but I like to call them what they are: the pro-criminal committee, the anti-American committee.
Look at that, both of them.
Not for people, but to destroy America. These groups are enemies of America. How many illegals are you housing in your home, Vasquez? Since you love them so much, house them in your own home. Use your own money to fund them. So I have a message to my fellow Americans who will watch this on TV or YouTube. Whose side are you on? Are you on the side of criminals, or are you on the side of this country? Stop feeling like you're a bad person for calling them illegals. Stop letting our enemies gaslight us into believing we are racist or anti-immigrant.
Speak, girl,
You
speak.
want to be a good person? A good person isn't a coward. A good person stands up for their neighbors and
That's
stand
right.
up for their country.
Speak.
I'll finish with my favorite Martin Luther King Jr. quote, and I hope my fellow Americans ponder this. He once said, "The question is not whether we will be extremists, but what kind of extremists we will be. The nation and the world are in dire need of creative extremists."
Let's go, Yali.
Morning. I am a mother, lover of education, and Chicago resident. We are a nation of laws, not of men. John Adams, second president. Silence in the face of evil is evil itself. God will not hold us guiltless. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. Pastor Dietrich Bonhoeffer He stood up to Hitler. We the people are the rightful masters of Congress and the courts, not to overthrow the Constitution, but to overthrow men who prevent and pervert the Constitution. President Abraham Lincoln. Thou shalt not steal. That's from the 8th Commandment. Behave in other people's homes or you'll never be invited again. That's my mother. So now I want to recognize a true woman on Women History Month, my mother, 83-year-old Maria. Also a Chicago resident. She's my rock, inspiration, and encouragement. We arrived legally to the United States in 1979.
Yes.
We made this country our home. We are proudly U.S. citizens now. My mom taught us moral values to respect our new home, respect the police, respect the flag, work hard, obey the laws, honor the U.S. Constitution, and stand up for our rights, no matter what. Thank you, Mom. Gracias, Mami. It's despicable how what my mom taught me is the complete opposite of what is being taught in Chicago in the U.S. We are living in times where the Safety Act practically says if you commit a crime, you do no time and still get rewarded. Patriot Americans, please continue to stand up for our country, our state, and our city. We will push back against traitors who seek to destroy this country. Who sold America out and forgot our vets who sacrificed this country? Biden and the Democratic Party. Made the top 10 list where American citizens are not welcome. Venezuela. Who says something's evil here? We got all these black faces and Hispanic faces, by the way, in high places, and you get nothing, Mr.
George Blakemore!
Mayor will change the sanctuary city through executive order. Brandon Johnson. Which alderman wants illegals and legal migrants to get the same rights? Vasquez. What policies failed and told the Gage Park community 3 months ago that they are not here to commit crimes? Mrs. Ponce de Leon. Oh boy, was she mistaken. Who gets away with breaking any law and gets free money?
The illegals.
Which amendment give us the freedom of speech? First Amendment. Which amendment will we need for the invasion? Second, every elected official needs to go back to 7th and 8th grade for a refresher on the U.S. Constitution. Familiarize yourself with Article 4, Section 4. Stop being anti-American.
Yes.
Happy Easter. Amen, Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Lawrence Jones.
Bring on Lawrence. Come on, Lawrence.
Good morning. I came here today to speak to the mayor and the deputy. Good morning, guys. Oh, wait, you guys are not here. So it sees that this may not be so important for the rest of us. But for me, it's very important, as we live in the land of laws, where we respect each other. And as such, I see that when the immigrants have come here, they're parking on the street with, the problem is that they all have cars and they all got money to buy cars. Where they're not working, I don't know where they get the cars from. But this is the problem, see, because the neighbors complained about it. They signed a petition so that they could get permit parking on the street. And now we are paying for the permit parking. We still don't get to park in the spaces that we pay for because they are taking the spaces. Every single day we call, and for some reason they don't put tickets on the cars. And then when I have called and spoken to some of the police officers, they tell me, well, we can't give them tickets because they don't have a domicile that they can send the ticket to that they have to pay. So with these laws, you know, the police are here to serve and protect.
Yes.
Yet I have video of several incidents where people are doing drugs in the park.
Right.
But I mean, I know marijuana is legal, but to be doing it in the public park across the street from a school, 2 schools, as a matter of fact, this is unacceptable. They're drinking in the park. Now, my neighbor came by one day, he was helping me with something, and we had a conversation. He was drinking a beer, and a cop rolled by the alleyway. They arrested him. They gave him a ticket for public drinking in public. And I'm like, well, he was just right there. We were kind of on our property line. He just came over to help me with something.
Wow.
I have other friends that I grew up since I've been a teenager that I've lived in Hispanic neighborhoods. And my friends came over from Mexico. You know, I taught them how to speak English. They taught me how to speak Spanish.
Okay.
And so here it is, almost 40 years later, one of my friends is still an illegal immigrant.
Wow.
Where he has not been able to get any paperwork to do anything. And these people are coming here, they're getting money, they're driving.
Oh,
Right,
my God, they
right.
did every damn thing.
You know, if you steal somebody's mail, I thought in my mind that if you mess with the federal, that's a federal offense.
Yes.
It's a felony. And I have video of several people stealing my packages. And I called the police, or I had to call 5 or 6 times before. It took 2 hours before a cop car would come. And when they came, I said, I have the person on video. I see them in the park over there. And they said, well, it won't do us any good to arrest him.
Wow.
Why?
Because they're just going to get out in 5 minutes anyway.
That's right.
You know, I'm fed up. I'm sorry. These laws, these radical laws,
They have to change.
I'm sorry, I'm out of time, but thank you so much.
Thank you,
so much.
Lawrence.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, sir. Immigrants and refugees' rights. Who are immigrants and what rights do they have? Racism at its worst. That chairman is racist. Right there, he said 3 minutes. He said 3 minutes. He didn't say, I'm taking away your minutes and you have 1 minute. He said 3 minutes.
3.
The last time I was here, when he had all these refugees and these Hispanic people, he changed it. He said, you're gonna get 1 minute. But we had to teach him how to treat us.
Yes.
He said 3 minutes. Black folks, you gotta teach these people how to treat you.
Yes, you do.
And I think he's learned his lesson. Young man, you said 3 minutes, and that's why I want you in court. That's why I'm gonna have a jury trial, and I'm gonna call up everybody, Mr. Starks and all of y'all, when y'all pulled me out and arrested me like a Georgia slave. But evidently, you're a slow learner. You're learning. You said 3 minutes. Why did you change? I hollered, help me, help me. And the police dragging me out like a Georgia slave. Why you not doing that? We have taught them how to treat us. And we're going to continue to teach all of y'all how to treat us. When we go to the poll, we're going to
Yes.
Republican.
Yes.
We're going to teach you. So you illegal immigrants are waking up the sleeping giants.
Uh-oh.
They're learning. They're learning that the Democrat machine don't give a up about us.
Okay.
Up about
Yes.
us. And before it's over, we're going to turn it red.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, we are.
All right. Now, I got my sisters and brothers.
Yes,
up
you
here.
do.
They're going to come up and speak too. Yes, we're going to teach y'all how to treat us. If you don't know how, you don't call us ends, but you treat us like that. You know what that N stands for?
All
I
right.
don't hear these Mexican people, white folks, saying the N word. But they treat you like one when they give jobs, goods, and contracts and service to these illegal immigrants. And what do we get? SHIO. And you can put the T there if you want to. Big.
All right, George. All right.
I'm next. Man. If y'all know my background, it's hard to get up here, and that's why I be hesitating on things, etc., misplacement of words, etc., because of the nonsense that us as Americans are experiencing.
Yes.
Oh, glory. Oh, glory. We got an alderman making a speech in front of a flag that has been burned.
Wow.
And some of you Latino aldermen saying, well, he got the freedom of speech. Everybody got the freedom of speech. But it's also what you're saying in that freedom.
That's right.
And then they say, it's a veteran that did that. Well, he need to be locked up and charged for treason.
Exactly.
That alderman should not, Lopez, he should not even, not just be on the board. He shouldn't even be an alderman.
That's
Yes.
right.
He shouldn't be an alderman.
That's right.
Stop playing
Treason.
with the words on people.
That's right.
He needs to be removed.
Right
You
now.
see, because I was attacked by alderman. Hold fast. I was attacked by alderman. In my fast. You see?
Great
and that's right. And the mayor come out and make a speech on that. But he has yet to speak on that lowlife standing in front of that flag. Talking about he ain't see it. You can see Old Glory still down there.
All across the news.
You can still see the red, white, and blue. See, people may not have no allegiance to this country.
That's right.
But they ain't experienced nothing as our people have.
Yes, they have.
Enslaved in America, enslaved.
Because I guarantee you this. I guarantee you this. It's them good old boys down south with hanging them like they hanging us when we ain't have no rights. Because they ain't got no rights. They're illegal. If they was getting hung, if they was getting chased down, mowed down, beat down by men, dogs, etc., then they won't even be coming up over here.
Tell it. Tell it.
We've been fighting for years.
Yeah.
And you disgrace this nation.
Yes.
You disgrace our flag. That's our flag.
Yes.
Our people died for that flag.
Yes.
Our people suffering right now over that flag.
Yes.
How dare you disrespect it?
Come on.
Send him back to
I don't
Mexico.
care about what death threats he got.
Send him
I
back
got
to
no
Mexico.
empathy and I got no sympathy for a fool like that.
Right.
Disrespecting our veterans.
All those lives.
So when y'all coming up here in these
Black Lives
meetings,
Matter.
y'all really not supporting them. Y'all just doing it for the damn show.
Right.
And forgive me. May Allah forgive me, because I ain't asking forgiveness from none of y'all. Because a lot of y'all ain't right, y'all devils.
Whoa.
The Democratic Party.
Whoa.
Democratic Party.
The Democratic Party.
Oh, no. Leave him alone.
Yes.
I'm in agreement with all of y'all.
All right.
I'm in agreement, true. And if they feel like you anti-American, then maybe it's time to really take a look at this, Vasquez. I know I see you as a good man. However, accountability is what I stand on.
Yes.
And for the last month, let's just put in account the last 120 days that I have suffered. Still homeless, countless SR numbers, but I watch individuals who have come from thousands of miles away get preferential treatment. Whereas I'm 43 years old. I live in this, how would you say it in Espanol? Mi es su casa. This is my home.
Yes.
Chicago, this is my home. I'm 43 years. This is my home.
Yes.
This is our home.
Ours, yes.
However, we've been pushed to the wayside, it seems,
Yes.
by our elects. So I can see them screaming down your necks. Look, and it's heavy, ain't it? It's hard, the reality of having this many individuals come out and share with y'all the hardships that they going through and have been going through. So kudos to the media.
Yes.
Thank y'all. However, in a place where you want to say something nice about Brandon Johnson, you're not here today.
Right.
In a place where you want to say something about the elects, or you want to say something about the people who've chosen to just disregard the American citizens of Chicago, the residents who pay taxes, who stand. This man said the illegals got cars, and they do. I watched them ride through 100 in the far south side without license, without insurance.
Right,
However,
right.
I now have license and insurance. No, I don't have a license because it's been taken from me.
Oh.
My insurance I can't cover because I don't have a job. And if you don't have a base to basically set yourself up like a home or housing, then you set to the wayside.
Right.
These are all realities that citizens here in this Chicago is suffering. Well, basically the country, because I want to say the country. That's what we're suffering right now. This is the reality of us. I'm the reality. This young woman is the reality. Blake Moore, Jessica, all of us. Gage Park residents, all of us. This man here with his wife. So if you're gonna, and the Second Amendment says guns, y'all considering giving illegal people we don't even know anything about.
Okay.
Guns. I can't even
They
carry
gave
a
it background check on them.
You know what? I'm gonna have to go through so much paperwork, and y'all gonna be like, "No, we can't get that black man no gun." However, y'all done said we gonna get these people guns. Where do we stand to protect ourselves? Even y'all look, what is this?
Right.
This a removal of the American citizens while y'all move a whole new people into the city?
They gonna try,
What is
but
going
they ain't getting
on?
it.
Honestly, what is going on? The reality of us is, if we continue to allow this to go on, then we will be displaced. Not only displaced, raped, murdered, pillaged.
Yes.
This is the reality.
Brother.
A city without walls has no defense. And we
Speak,
got
brother.
no walls. We got no walls in our elects. No walls.
All
So
right.
understand this. A city without walls has no defense. And we got no...
That's right. Thank you. Thank you.
Know what I was going to say up here, so I'm just going to freelance. First of all, once again, as repeated before, this is you guys' job. Please show up on time.
Yes.
If I'm a second late, 3 times in a year, I'm fired. So, and that's from CTA, a company that's ran in this city, okay? And on the subject of housing these illegal immigrants, I have to witness all day long telling people to get off the train because we at the end of the line. I have to get families off, elderly, some I know personally throughout the years from speaking to them, veterans. And then to know that you all are housing illegal immigrants who they themselves have not contributed to this economy directly. Their parents and grandparents have not contributed to this economy directly. To see you all do for them, to appoint a deputy mayor for them. But just a few years ago, when it came to our homeless, you all just threw your hands up in the air and say that you don't have the money or the resources.
Right.
That's right.
I've never been homeless in my life. I've never had to stay in a shelter. Praise God. And I'm thankful for that.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that I don't sympathize with those that have.
Yes.
I have my own issues with America here, as most African Americans do. But as they stated, your fellow alderman burning that flag, that right there, I think you're supposed to be in prison for that, aren't you? Isn't that some type of
Sounds right to me.
Yeah, you know, how are you all defending him?
It's a
I
fighting
don't trust
move.
you. I don't trust anybody that is that unpatriotic, but yet you have a government seat.
Right.
Well,
you don't need to serve in any public capacity if you are okay, even if you didn't do it yourself, if you're okay with what he did. He shouldn't even been standing out there with no Palestinians. And I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't have no type of, I don't feel sorry for feeling the way I feel about
Should
that
be
issue here.
fired.
Use your power and your voice to carry out your duties here for the city of Chicago, not for what's happening overseas.
Yes.
We don't want to hear it.
Take
It
care
might
of
sound
home.
cruel, but we really don't want to hear about what's happening overseas. And what they said about CPD not being able to do anything, that's absolutely true. Because I've had people assaulted, robbed, and everything on my training. You know what? There's only so much that CPD can do within their power. Because the laws that you are allowing to pass over the heads of the citizens are going against us, and you're giving privileges to criminals. Now, not only do we have our home criminals that you're giving these privileges to, now we got to deal with the illegal immigrants having these privileges and more.
Right. Good. Yes. Speak.
Thank you.
Followed by our last speaker, Sylvia, aka Big Sil.
Hey, Big Sil.
Oh, that's that little lady. Ain't that her right there?
Now Anthony's coming up. Come on, Anthony.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So I have a few words that I wrote, but let's take a moment of silence for all those who don't feel comfortable speaking, for all those who might not eloquently be able to present themselves, for our fallen soldiers near and abroad. Distinguished members of the Legislative Body Committee on Immigrant and Refugee Rights, I come before you today not as a mere speaker, but as a vessel for the voices that have been silenced in the corridors of power, As Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. eloquently proclaimed, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. These words reverberate through the streets of Chicago, where the marginalized and oppressed and the forgotten cry out for recognition and dignity. In the heart of the great city, we see the echoes of Malcolm X's unyielding call for self-determination and empowerment. We witness the struggles of Black and brown communities who bear the brunt of systematic injustices and economic disparities. We see our veterans who have sacrificed so much for our nation left to fend for themselves in a society that often overlooks their needs. Yet in the face of adversity, we also find the unwavering love of Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Whose teachings compel us to advocate for the downtrodden and to seek justice for the oppressed. It is with this love in our hearts that we demand change, not tomorrow, not next year, but now.
Now.
Chicago's political body must undergo a profound transformation, one that recognizes the inherent worth and dignity of every individual, regardless of their race, ethnicity, and background, social and economically. We cannot turn a blind eye to the struggles of our immigrants and refugee brothers and sisters who seek sanctuary and opportunity in our city. We cannot, because this is a sanctuary city. However, I didn't interrupt you. However, we must not and continue to ignore the cries of those who are unjustly marginalized and disenfranchised. For I am one who was born at Cook County Hospital and lived in Robert Taylor. I still remember what it smells like on the elevators. However, I'm a product of the projects, but I am not the end of that, for I am that I am. The time for action is upon us. We must dismantle the barriers that perpetrate inequality and division. We must strive to create a city where every person has access to quality education, affordable housing, and meaningful employment. We must stand in solidarity with our immigrant and refugee communities, those who came the proper way. Yes. Offering them not just refuge, but a place to thrive and contribute to the vibrant city known as Chicago. Let us heed the call of the voiceless, for their cries are not merely, and Dr. King said in the words of Dr. King, the time is all raised right now.
All right.
Go red! 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 Go
What you say?
No more blue, no matter who.
Go red. What you say? What you say? No more blue, no matter who.
Go red.
What you say? Not say.
No more blue, no matter who. Go red.
Y'all heard? Y'all heard?
No matter who. Go red.
What you say? What you say?
No matter who.
No more blue, no matter who.
Go red.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No more blue, no matter who.
Go red.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No more blue, no matter who.
Go red. Go red.
Come on, Trump. Come on, Trump. Trump 2024. Yes. Trump supporters over here. Yes. We ain't backing down. We stepping forward.
All right.
They called for this. They brought this. But it keeps stumping all over us. Our neighborhoods are going stumped down.
We need a Republican president.
We need Republican older people.
I was doing good with the Republican.
Someone who's going to respect us and stand up for us.
I was doing great with the Republican.
We don't care what color you are, long as you support us. No more blue, no matter who. Get that in your head. You cannot continue to support blue when they don't support you. Hey, we want to interview with you after it's done with, okay?
Rap that. Let's do that rap. Go red, 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 go red.
We're in the studio. We'll be coming back to continue. We'd like to finish this one up. Happy to answer questions after us. No problem. We want to make sure you the meeting.
I'm holding you to that interview.
Gone. Yep, nothing gone. I'm tired of you. Go red.
Go red.
Look at him. He don't know how to run no committee.
We're going to have to get some Republicans up in City
That's
Hall.
right.
Okay.
All right now.
We're getting Republicans in City Hall. We're getting Republicans in City Hall.
Y'all didn't start a meeting on time.
We need our rights
He's an older
to be
person
acknowledged.
too. I don't know his name.
We
But he's an
getting
older
red up in City Hall. Believe that. Believe that.
We need to bring our conservative perspectives
People are
back.
waking up, they standing up, they showing up, and they showing out. Well, all right. All right.
Question for you.
But you're going to stay away from 50, you're going to stay away from Ye, and you're going to stay away from Snoop.
I'll stay away from all of them.
You can
Okay,
have your rules.
you have consented. You have consented to this recording.
Yes, I can answer questions.
When these people exit out of these
The shelters.
shelters, where are they going?
Well, so that's why we wanted the reporting, because what we were being told by the administration is they have the option to go back to the landing zone and request shelter if they can't find any.
They need to go back home.
The reality is they're not going to disappear in the thin air. So if they don't go to landing zone or the shelter, it's likely they end up on the streets, in the viaducts, parks, all of the other things. So we want to make sure that if that is what's happening, we're tracking it as it occurs, because I don't believe we should be evicting folks from shelter, because it'll end up being a larger problem for the communities. So let's say, for example, you come to this country, you got 200 people that you know in a building, you're then kicked out. You're more than likely might end up right outside that building because all the people you know are in there. That's the community as you identify it, and neighborhoods you're familiar with. So that's why it's important for us to get the tracking to figure out what actual next steps are, because that could be, I believe, a more costly and larger problem down the line if we don't address it.
So where's the hold on. Where's the landing zone at?
It's, I think Des Plaines is the street. So it's like downtown area. We can get it over to you if you want to follow up.
We want you to take out your phone and tell us exactly where.
Yeah, you can email. I'll send it over
We're
to you.
not emailing. You have your phone, sir. You work with
Yes,
us.
and currently
You work
I can't
with
pull it
us,
up.
but right now you work for us. Otherwise, we can get you
Well,
out.
not just right now. All the time work for you, but it's also getting the information.
Where are the buses? You said there were more buses supposed to be coming.
Yeah,
When do
so
you expect more buses to come?
what's been happening is we can't really expect, because Texas will send them without any heads up. And so because the city has an ordinance where if they come into the city, they'll be fined. They're actually getting dropped off in the suburbs and coming back. So we don't know. But if we know that the Republicans are looking to attack this way before the Democratic convention, you can anticipate more and more buses as you're leading up to it.
Now, I have a question. So my question is this. So do you really care about the people standing in front of you, or do you care about your positions that you seek for higher government places in the future?
I don't think about a higher position. I'm glad I got this job and then neighbors allow me to. I think what we want to figure out are two things. I don't think that we should have two different shelter systems. It should be one, and we should be knowing what happens to the unhoused population before this even became a thing, as to what their treatment is in the shelters. What does that eviction process look like? If it was one shelter system for anybody who needs it, it'd be less of a division that's being caused right now.
What is your stance on reparations for the citizens from freed slaves? Because bear with me. It seems like Evanston is getting it right. What is Chicago's stance on that?
Yeah, I actually in the last term was the vice chair of the subcommittee on reparations for the Committee on Health and Human Rights. So I firmly believe we need to work on reparations, whether it's a guaranteed income. But what we've said is the same way Evanston takes the cannabis tax to make that into funds, that we should do that. So in this last budget, we actually negotiated to add, I believe it's $250,000 to $300,000 to create a reparations commission to actually do that work.
Okay, because that $300 million, we're going to follow that paper trail.
$300,000 for the commission.
We're talking about the $300 million.
Oh, I got you. Yeah,
because here's the thing. We have to take care of home first. I cannot shovel my neighbor's snow before I shovel my own.
Yeah.
And the city of Chicago has forgotten about the citizens who continue to pave the way for the future.
So I would not fully agree with that. I think the city doesn't do a good job of showing what it actually does for other communities as well. So they're allowing this to be the narrative of somebody getting nothing and somebody getting everything. I think it's fair to go, here's what's being done for the community, here's what's being done for the other, and then compare and go, what is the gap? Because it should be maybe not equivalent, but it shouldn't be a zero-sum conversation.
Because when I talk to my associates who work at places such as Joy, such as Dom's Kitchen, they're telling me that they're firing the people when they miss one day, and they're hiring the migrants because they're able to pay them a way lesser range because of the statutes that are written in the government. With that being said, when I go to a store and I say, hey, do you know where the milk is? Do you know where the water is? I want to speak English. I don't want to say, donde está agua.
Yeah, I mean, there's people who bring up issues with all types of communication. But I think, to your point, the reason why we want legal work authorization is so nobody gets exploited. Because exactly to that point, they undermine the wages, they undermine the benefits, and everyone gets screwed.
Except the heights, such as Target. Target made it so much money last year. Everybody got raises and bonuses except the front line.
And that's the thing.
People who work on the register.
That's why we believe, obviously, in union labor. But also, if you don't get the legal work authorization, it does become under the radar. People get exploited, and we end up being so divided that, to your point, those who got the money are going to continue getting the money.
And last thing, such as my buddy Lamar Glass, who worked at Trader Joe's, and my buddy Christopher Jones, who was shot 13 times, mistaken identity. He got fired from Target unjustly and was not able to get unemployment, neither one of them, because they voiced their concerns and they said we need to create a union.
Yeah.
And this is
100%.
the home of the unions, because this is the home of the brave.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So now, give me one moment.
Yeah, and I do got to wrap up and give you a heads up.
So now I have a question about what I spoke on last week, about there's 400 plus companies, Hyatt being one of them, Tyson being another one, that are constantly catering to what they call as refugees. Do you still see it?
Yeah, the people first, guys.
The people are first.
Sorry.
People first.
No, I two more questions. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so do you still see, as we spoke of last year in December, that illegals are still equated to the migrants that came here legally?
So, yes, the clarity here is when you come seeking asylum, that's a legal process. So when people have the issue about using the term illegal, they're not doing anything illegal. They're following the asylum process as it's placed out. So, which is why when folks cross the border, they get registered. The issue is when you frame
Which border?
Whichever border they come from.
So you can come. So you can come through the water under the fence and everything, and that's considered legal.
When you come in, you get registered because that was when you have like Homeland Security. So when you get through a process where you're seeking asylum, you are now part of a legal process.
But why
to your
are
point,
people?
If there are people who come in and don't seek asylum, they don't go through any of that. That would be more apt for the description. But the folks in the shelter, for example, are all seeking asylum and all registered in.
Our northern border is dark, and we've got a problem up there.
Well, nobody talks about when somebody comes from Canada, right? So fair, that's a fair one. One last question.
As far as all of the...
My thing is on the reparations. You mentioned that they try to find money through the marijuana tax, et cetera, and things like that. Exactly. Why do our people got to go through that process as far as our reparations, and y'all just handing this money over to the immigrants, migrants, or whatever you may want to name them?
So the reason why the question is, normally you need it for all. The reason why some of the funding is going for the migrant issue is because it's federal money that's already been determined through the federal and state to go for that purpose. A lot of the things that we do as taxes have to get like written out and done. Because we have that money coming in, what it does is it goes to the general fund. It doesn't go to specific things. Writing it so that those funds go directly for like reparations, I think makes absolute sense, because that's part of why there is legalization of cannabis and the tax. So that is, we want to do that. When Lightfoot was here, she didn't fund any of the commission, and so it was a subcommittee that didn't have any money to do any policy work or write anything out. Now that there's money in the last budget through Johnson's budget to put towards that commission, they can do the work of drafting legislation so we can get stuff passed.
Okay. As far
Last
as,
one, yeah.
As far as all of the crimes that is happening in the city, and the police are unable to do anything about that because, you know, their status or whatever the case is, whatever the excuse the police use, what is being done to prevent that from happening? What is being done to allow the police to do their jobs and to imprison the criminal immigrants that are wreaking havoc?
Well, I guess there's a couple things to in any population, you're looking at what, 1 to 3% that are probably criminal that commit crime. It does matter because you're setting a premise that may not be accurate.
No.
So, do you want me to answer the question?
Okay.
So, in any population, you have a margin that does commit crime, right? No. They should be held accountable. I'm sorry.
I said okay.
Yeah, they should be held accountable regardless. We agree to that. If an immigrant commits a crime, you should be held accountable. You should get arrested. All the things. Now, when it comes to this narrative of whether officers are or not able to do their job, that I defer to the officers saying that, because the reality is we have officers that I believe should be focused on 3 core functions: investigation, apprehension, and emergency response when appropriate. But we call them for traffic tickets or domestic violence, mental health, homelessness. They're doing so many of those things, they can't function on their core function, and we don't fund other departments to do those jobs. So the reason why they can't do their job is because they're overwhelmed with things that shouldn't be their responsibility. So when we're making the case that funding needs to be for like treatment, not trauma, or these other things, it's so you can take it off an officer's plate so they can focus on 3 core functions.
But okay, I'm not just talking about the police, just law enforcement in general. If they get arrested and they get bail, you know,
there is no bail
money
system anymore.
Okay, so then why do they not stay in there then?
They
get arrested and they get let out, and there's citizens who get arrested, they don't get let out.
Well, if you depend who you're talking to, they talk the same thing about citizens, right? That's how they bring up bail. Well, we know if you can't afford it, you stay locked up. So the reality of a court system is if there is not evidence in a court or trial to convict someone, they're free until innocent until proven guilty. So just like any other process, they've got to go through just due.
So really nothing is being done?
No, I mean, I guess unless you think that's the same thing for everybody else.
No, I'm just saying, like, there's been multiple people to complain
done
about the fact that they call the police or they make complaints, and the police tell them there's nothing that they can do.
Yeah, what I would tell them
do.
is you can file a COPA complaint if an officer tells you they can't do their job.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. And there you have it, folks. He is the leader over this Refugee and Migrant Council down here at Chicago City Hall. Have a great day.
You too.